Alright, what is going on, everyone? And welcome to my first impressions and review of The Elder Scrolls Online for the console version. So a lot of people have been asking me, is it worth getting if you were a PC player before? And there's a lot of other frequently asked questions that I will be discussing in the next few minutes. So, first of all, I just wanted to explain, what is going on, what you should expect. As you see on the screen, there are 4 topics that we're going to be covering. And a little bit about me before we get into this, just so you guys can have an idea of what I have done, is I played this game on release on PC, which is over a year ago. And I have all 3 factions done. I pretty much did PvP. I have over, 500 hours into it with over 650 episodes of gameplay on YouTube. That is just for the PC version. So for the most part, I feel like I know what I'm talking about. But this is for the console version, and the things we're going to discuss are what you would expect on the console version. So a lot of people have been playing this game in the beta. I was not one of them. I never got an invite for that, but that's okay. I heard it was pretty good, and so I got the game on launch. Some people got it early, and so the first thing a lot of people have been asking me was, do you need PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live Gold to play this game? And the answer to that is yes, you do. It is an online game. It's kind of required, just kind of like Destiny. I don't think, well, to play with other people, that's a little bit different, but you do need the subscription for it, or the console subscription. There's no ESO subscription, which brings us into the second point, is there's still a ESO subscription? No, there actually is not a required one. However, there's an optional one where you can buy a little bit of XP and get crowns for it. So is it worth getting right now? The answer to that is, if you're just beginning the game and would like a small experience bonus and everything else, then I would highly recommend checking that out. As for everything as of right now, there's not really much benefit of getting except for the 10% XP bonus. However, in the near future, from what I've heard, is that they're going to be releasing expansion packs, which is DLC, and if you are a subscription member, you get to play those as long as you are subscribed, whereas if you aren't, you just buy it as extra DLC. So I guess in the future I'll probably update you guys on whether or not it's worth it, but as of right now, I don't really see a benefit of getting it unless you want the 10% or so experience bonus. And yeah, so the controls and gameplay. Now this one is kind of going into the what to expect. So if you've never played the PC version of it, it might be a little bit more of a challenge, because the controls, there are a lot of buttons to just memorize. Sometimes you have to press 2 buttons to activate certain things, and obviously it's a lot of memorization for it, but I feel like everyone can get the hang of it within I don't know, 2 hours of actually playing the game. Just the general core buttons to get used to and figuring out where things are. So I guess I would say it's a little bit steeper of a learning curve, but there's a lot of other things to expect. So if you're like me and you don't like being surrounded by idiots and other people who just do stuff to troll you, there's an option to turn off the voice volume. I would recommend doing that immediately. The first thing you do when you launch the game, go into your options menu and literally adjust everything to your liking, especially the voice volume. So do things carry over? If you are a PC player, only your characters and items transferred over. Your guild, your friends list, obviously do not transfer over, and everything you bought from the crown store, which is the real money store, what you already have and your current balance of crowns do transfer over. However, everything else doesn't. So your guild, I had one on PC that did not, even if no one was in it and it just carried over the name, that did not work. So just making a new one. I do have a guild, and if you want to join, just check it out. I'll leave part 1 of the PlayStation run. That's how you can figure out everything. So, day 1, what was my experience, pretty much? I heard there was a lot of downtime, like either the servers are down or like literally everyone was trying to get in, so there's a login queue. I did not really experience that because I guess I was on at like midnight, and I don't know. I feel like for people who transferred the characters over, or like bought the promotion thingy when you buy the digital copy that ZeniMax sent out a couple months ago, I feel like those people got on a little bit earlier. I'm not 100% on that, but that's what I heard. So, what else should we recommend in this game? Like, if you are a new player, what should you expect, and how do you do things? So, obviously, you make a new character, you do everything, and just pretty much if you're just into it for the story, then you shouldn't have any problems. I have not experienced any bugs. The only lag I've gotten was the server lag on day 1, and I think that should be fixed within the next week or so. And by that I mean either people will get bored of the game or like out of the certain area that you're in, so you shouldn't experience too much lag. But other than that, like, the bugs have been fixed since the PC. I haven't experienced any. The only thing that it's not a big deal, but something is the detection. Like, let's say it's click X to do this, talk to somebody. Certain buttons are bound to like multiple functions where, like, let's say X would be to jump and X would also be to talk to someone, so accidentally you do the wrong thing. So that's kinda the downside of this, where PC you have all these extra buttons. You can even have macro buttons and do everything, but console, as you may imagine, is very limited, and some buttons do multiple things. So it's not really bad, it's just a matter of getting used to, and I think for overall it's a good game. So is the game worth it? Should I pick it up over this game? I would recommend it, because if you're planning on spending money on a game, obviously as a consumer and just like a regular person who buys games too, I would say money for the time spent, you are going to get hundreds of hours, maybe thousands of hours of this game. So what is this about, pretty much? If you've never played a Skyrim or Elder Scrolls game in general, it's pretty much like an RPG except an MMO, like a console MMO. And if you like those kind of games, I would think you would enjoy this one. You could beat this game entirely solo if you wanted to, and those are for the people who just like doing things by themselves. You could also play this with friends and do group stuff as well. So there is no real pay to win in this game. Everything is pretty much cosmetic. However, I have noticed one thing is, like, you can pay to upgrade your mount. It doesn't affect the game, it just makes things faster. Most of the time it's just cosmetic stuff and occasional potions, which are not really necessary at all. You make enough money in-game to pretty much buy everything. So, as of today is June 10th, one like full day after the launch. Now, a lot of people are going to be beginning the game. I'm not sure how many people are carrying over their characters from before. So if you are one of those people who did buy the game and played it on PC in the past, there's not really too many players who are doing endgame stuff like veteran rank 10 and higher, Craig Lorne, whatnot. So that you might be playing a little bit solo for a week or so until people catch up. And another question that I've been getting a lot is, how long does it take to get to the max veteran rank or highest level, and what is the highest level? So first, initially you go from level 1 to 50, and then you get, after that, you go to veteran rank 1, and then after veteran rank 1 is 1 to 14, and then that's pretty much the end until they add other stuff. So as an estimate of how long it would take you, it would probably be about 80 to 100 hours if you are just rushing the game. You don't care about the dialogue, don't care about the story, And if you are actually listening to all the dialogue, doing all the side missions, bosses, dungeons, and grinding, it might take you upwards like 200 hours. So, if not more. And obviously, if you were playing with friends and you do have the PlayStation Plus bonus, it could be significantly less or more depending on your playstyle. If you are that guy who likes to literally collect everything in a game and like hoard everything, it might take you a little bit longer. So, about the game, and these are kind of obvious things that if you've played the game you should know. There are 3 factions: Ebonheart, Daggerfall, Aldmeri. You get to pick one of them in the beginning and complete that faction. So you may be wondering, do I have to make 3 different characters to experience the entire game? No, you do not, but that is very optional. After you beat the main story and get to level 50 on like your main character, I would say, then you have the option to go to another faction. You don't get to pick. It puts you in like a certain one. For example, the Ebonheart Pact, if you started from there, then you would go to Daggerfall, then the Aldmeri. So you don't get to pick. You do all of them eventually, but it depends on what you start as, and that might be interesting. And the difficulty of the game also does carry over to different factions as you progress, which is to be expected. So that might be a little incentive to stick to one character and see how you do. Overall, I would say the game is not difficult. You generally get, after veteran rank 1, you get 1 veteran rank level per zone you complete, and each faction has about 5 zones. So by the end of it, you should be veteran rank 10. So like the first faction, you start 1 to 50, and then veteran 1 to 5, and then 6 to 10, and then you would be done with the entire faction, or all 3 factions, and you would move on to Craiglorn, which is pretty much group dungeons, raids, and whatnot, high-end endgame stuff. And yeah, so that's pretty much the game in a nutshell until they add more stuff. So what else should you expect in the console version? There are going to be a lot of people there. I wish they had text chat instead of voice chat. Now, I understand on consoles it just makes things easier, but I mean, they do have text chat in the game where you have to like put in people's names to add them to a group, or like if you want to add them to a guild, you have to add them like manually. So that's kind of different. Even people on your friends list, there's no add to guild button or invite. You have to like manually put in their username or like gamer tag, whatnot. So that, it's alright. So just out of a short conclusion of this game, let's recap everything we covered. Do you need PlayStation Plus, Xbox Live to play this game? That is a yes. Is there a subscription for the game? That is optional. And should I spend money? Is this game pay to win? No. Not yet, at least. And as for the gameplay and the controls, you might take a few hours to get used to all the controls. There are different things. You have to like hit one button to get here, travel, and all that stuff. It takes a little bit to get used to, but overall, not difficult. And how is it balanced? That is another big thing I forgot to mention. Like, for example, if you're doing PvP, which is Cyrodiil, how would people like scale against you and stuff? So if you are not in the veteran ranks yet, there's a non-veteran rank Cyrodiil. It's exactly the same as the veteran rank one. Like, exactly looks the same. You can do the same quests and whatnot. However, just the people in it are, for the most part, not your level. Like, if you're in veteran ranks, you're going to be placed in the veteran ranks Cyrodiil PvP zone. So don't worry about getting wrecked too hard. How is the PvP? For the most part, it is... I really haven't been a huge fan of it, but I did do a little bit, and it's kind of like if you ever played another MMO where you're just doing like huge raids of like, I don't know, 50 versus 50, and you're just capturing things. That's the fun part about it. But there is a lot of traveling and a lot of dead time for walking and getting from point A to B. So that's pretty much a slow thing. there are a lot of quests that have huge moral decisions where it affects the game. So expect a few of those in the game. Those are usually the high intense parts of the game. And overall, I would say it is a good game. It is worth picking up if you have the chance. And yeah, I do pretty much prefer the PC version over the console version, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. The graphics are pretty good. I have not experienced too much of a frame drop, only in the big areas where there are a lot of people, which is to be expected. So yeah, overall gameplay is good. If you played the PC version, is it worth like buying the actual game for it? I would say not really if you played it for over a year on PC, but if you're just new, definitely recommend it. You're gonna have a lot of fun time with it, and there are a lot of things I plan on doing with my friends and all my guildmates. So if you do have it for PlayStation 4, and send me a message in game if you would like to join the guild. I would be doing like group dungeons with everybody. I do like playing with fans, so that's just like a small way of saying thanks for watching my videos and whatnot. So yeah, all of that would be on YouTube as well, so feel free to send me messages. If you have any questions for this game, feel free to let me know as well. I do read most of it, assuming you aren't spamming nonsense and it gets blocked by YouTube itself. So overall, I would say this game is a solid 8.5 out of 10. The reason why I would dock some points off of it is because it is slightly confusing, and there is sort of a steep learning curve, and not really steep, I would just say, just it takes longer than usual, a little bit longer. And obviously right now it is currently 2 days in it, so then I guess if you were to read this a month later, probably all the lag and issues would be resolved, and I would probably score it a little bit higher. Other than that, the story is pretty much the same, so it's really good. Definitely recommend it. So with that said, my name has been John, and if you enjoyed it, be sure to give this video a like. I do appreciate it. And if you aren't subscribed already, the reason why you should consider it is I do upload videos 7 days a week, both PC games and console games. My channel is primarily Let's Plays, but right now you might be seeing a lot of Elder Scrolls because, as you may imagine, the summer is not really like there's not too many games coming out in the summer, as you may imagine. So this is kind of one of those games where you just play with friends. You could play the solo. That's what I did for the most part. And yeah, I might do more like beginner's guides and just in general tutorials on how to do various things that normal, like if you're advanced tutorials and whatnot. So hope you enjoyed it. Have a fantastic day, and if you are new, there are links in the description to my social media and of course my Twitch, where I stream it live and interact with everyone. So if you are interested in following me elsewhere, there are links in the description along with the playlist if you want to just watch me play it. So have a fantastic day. Hope you all stay safe.